Hello everyone and welcome to the channel, to my first ever game. Today we're playing Legacy of the Wizard. This is on the Bandai, or not Bandai, the Namco collection on the Switch. Legacy of the Wizard, also known as Dragon Slayer 4 in Japan. Quick little synopsis for anybody who's curious. This family here, they live like on top of this dungeon that some wizard they're descended from, or she's descended from, so are her kids. I think dad's just a lumberjack or something, I don't know. They're like, he's like, hey, I'm gonna seal this dragon away, and one day one of my descendants can wield the Dragon Slayer, and the junior over here can do that. So mom's like, alright, kids, and like dad, we're gonna all get together, and including dog comes too. We're gonna go down there and kill this dragon. So she's like, you ready, son? And he's like, all right, mom. And then grandma and grandpa are like, grandma's like, I'll give you a password if you want to stop playing. And grandpa's like, I'd take that password. Nah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, we're start by playing the dog. And yeah, he's fine. I don't know if this is I don't know if he wears a dog costume and he takes that off and this is what he actually is, or if the dog puts on this costume. And I don't know. I can't really tell you. Like, I don't know if he's actually a dog or if this is what he really is. I couldn't tell you. If I could, I would. I really wish I could, because I like knowing things. In my mind, he's a dog in a monster costume. That's what I see. You know what? And if there's an actual like explanation, I don't want to hear it, because in my mind, he is a dog in a monster costume. So everybody sort of has like sort of their own, like, outside of like items they can equip, they like their kit that they can equip. Everybody sort of has something special about him. The dog's special thing is that he cannot take, he doesn't take damage from monsters, so we can just simply walk through them. However, monsters also drop items, so we want to go ahead and grab some stuff here. I'm gonna grab some money here. Money, of course, can be exchanged for goods and services, and just like in the real world, I don't really think that requires explanation. Keys unlock doors and treasure chests, so oh my god, that's a poison vial of poison or whatever. It damages you. A lot of guys drop them. It's quite a frequent drop, so it's kind of sucky. Get a lot of money here, but we really don't need it because we're grabbing a big sack of money right here. So we're like maxed out on money right now. We don't use money too much other than staying at inns. There's one item that I buy. Got some keys there, that's good. There's one item that I buy because, like, I played through this game several times recently, and I also checked maps. I think the only item that I buy is something that I can't get any other way. Could be wrong, though. Not infallible. I always like the background there. You see a like nice castle in the background, even though we're underground, so it's like, it always makes me think that's like that part of the dungeon that we enter at some point, perhaps. Because we're not in the dungeon right now. I mean, we're below ground, but we're not in the dungeon proper. This is sort of the above ground part, but since the dog doesn't take damage from enemies, he's a good one to do some exploration with. However, you can't really explore sides of the dungeon that are meant for other people very well, because his mobility isn't the best, and he lacks access to items like that glove right there that allow you to actually explore areas. So we only ever play him the one time, which is right now, and we're gonna grab a couple items with him. That's pretty much it. That's the use of the dog. He kind of sucks. But like I was talking about, like, believing he's actually just a dog in a monster costume. That's one of the blanks that I always enjoyed filling in, like, more video games were really like were also used as a medium for like heavy storytelling. You could kind of just fill in some blanks with your own imagination. I still enjoyed, that's one of the reasons why I still like games like this. I like just filling in blanks, like, why is this happening? And then I just kind of like make up my own answer and go with that, and it's fun. I've always done that. I think it's a good literary device. Like, just go ahead and like let your reader go ahead, or I guess that's for a book, but that's health right there. It's supposed to be bread, but certainly doesn't look like bread. As far as literary, I always like that as far as, like, storytelling goes. Like, go ahead and, like, leave something up to the imagination of your readers, because then you can have fun. Like, let them come up with, like... Of course, most fan theories are pretty terrible, but sometimes you get something that's, like, pretty interesting. That chest there's got a crystal, a warp crystal in it. I don't know if that's the actual name. That's what I call it. It allows you to warp out of dungeons instantaneously. You do not put items into your inventory. If you have an empty slot, they automatically go to your storage. Which was like sort of another blank that I always filled in inside of my own head. Like in this game, I always imagine, because you can change your loadout at home or at any of the inns that you go to. So I always just kind of like figured it's like the inns are run by a wizard, where every inn actually takes you to the same exact place, and that also contains any items that you contain in your storage. So that's why you can do that. And as you can see, I'm only playing as a dog right now, but I always also imagine that the whole family enters the dungeon at the same time. You can probably say the son probably doesn't, because he's useless. Yeah, Junior, the son, the guy who actually slays the dragon, he might be worse than the dog, actually. He's just awful. He is just terrible. So we're not actually going to play as him until, like, he's ready to go fight the dragon. But anyway, I would say that, as far as I reckon in this game, everything is just, everybody just enters the dungeon at the same time and does their thing. And also, every portion of a dungeon, because we're inside the dog's portion of the dungeon now, sort of, there's a way to gatekeep people from going in here. There's some ways to get around them in a lot of the areas, but this one is, the enemies just have a crap ton of health and do a crap ton of damage. So that's sort of just there to prevent you from going in here. And it's like, oh yeah, the dog's like invulnerable, so what do we do for his dungeon? We just make it so anybody else who goes in here just gets bodied. So we went in there, we just grabbed the glove, the boxing glove, whatever the heck it's called. That quadruples the attack of anybody who equips it. Dog cannot equip it. So we are just going to go ahead and get out of here now. And it's like, wait, we're in his dungeon, why aren't we going to go ahead and complete it? Well, you always fight the bosses in the same order every time. The bosses are always fought in the same order, that doesn't matter which dungeon. You always fight a boss at the end of somebody's dungeon. The bosses are fought in the same order every time, meaning that, like, first dungeon, you fight the first boss, second dungeon complete, you fight the second. But it doesn't matter which dungeon you complete, you always fight the bosses in the same order. So, what I typically did is I would always do what I consider to be my least favorite dungeon first, and that is so I can just fight the easiest boss first. And also it gets the worst dungeon out of the way, where I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. Move on to the next one. And I've got the bosses pretty much down, so we don't need to worry. I'll go more into that the further we get into it. But for right now, we're just leaving the dungeon, taking the long way back. And that is so that we can, we're going to switch out, because we're done with the dog. He's done. He did everything that he's meant to do. He collected the items that he was meant to collect, and he really isn't good for much else. Like I said, as far as, like, his natural ability to not take damage it's good, but you're gonna most of this game is just you damage boosting through enemies, so not really a big deal. I want to see if I can get at least another key drop. There we go. Fight these guys here real quick. Yeah, we're getting mostly potions because we're low on magic, and the game wants to. The game is good about that, where it always tries to give you what you actually need, and it does prioritize like food and magic over top, like, say, like, keys or gold. Keys are probably, I think they're, like, the least prioritized over everything. We're grabbing Dad now. This guy. So, his dungeon is, actually, it's easy. It's really, we're grabbing the punching glove. As you can see, his attack's 12 when we grab that, so he gets, like, an absolute truck. But, his dungeon used to be the hardest for me. I just kind of, like, got used to playing him first. Because I would do his dungeon because it was always the worst for me. But the more I've played this game, the more his dungeon actually has become like one of the easier ones to complete, actually. I would probably say. It's just long. The difficulty's not there. I used to be really bad at doing his puzzles, and you'll see, I'll get more into that whenever I get there. But, and I also really like Dad here. He's, got that mustache. He's kind of built like a CRT TV. I mean, look at him. He's got a very, very square build. Doesn't have good posture either. He's like hunched over. But, I mean, the guy bagged a baddie. He's like some kind of lumberjack, and he's got like a hot wife who's a wizard. Like, he's just, it just works. You know, this guy's like attained like all the goals that like pretty much everybody else wanted to attain. He just did it. Guys talk about like going out there and starting a family with like this hot witch. This guy actually went out and did it. Like everybody, I'm all talk. This guy did it. This guy walked the walk and he talked the talk. He's a real, just the greatest man to ever live, probably. There we go. Grab that. Eat ass for health. We call it bread and manual, but I say otherwise. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, we got some keys too. We're looking good. We're looking good. We're gonna grab. We're not gonna come back. Like sometimes, like if you go into a dungeon, you might want to skip some chests, especially if you know what's in them. But we're not actually returning anything for Zemin, so the dad. So we're just gonna go ahead and grab everything that we can while we're here the first time. One of the things I hate, it's very persnickety on letting you grab ladders. Like it doesn't like pull you on like magnetically like in some other like games where it's like, okay, you're close, but you're not quite there, so we're just gonna pull you in. No. In this game, it's like if you're not like absolutely where you're supposed to be, you're just gonna stand there like shaking and doing nothing. Grab those 20 keys, which is not nearly enough. This game requires a lot of keys. And that's usually if there's anything in this game that ever kind of like gets me stuck somewhere, it's not having the keys that I need. But anyway, this is his dungeon. Really is block manipulation, which I really sucked at when I first started playing this game, and that's why I do his dungeon first. I was really bad at blocks. But, you know, they say there's no substitute for experience, so we're going up here because we want to grab the stompers. That's what I call them anyway. The stompers basically like let you be like Mario, where you can, if they are equipped, you can jump on an enemy and kill them. And yes, it is Mario. It's not Mario. He refers to, when he refers to himself in the third person, he calls himself Mario. Meaning it's like you don't just call somebody by the wrong name, you know? It's like if somebody's like, oh yeah, my name is Yawn. You don't call him John. It's like, yeah, it's like it might be it's like yeah, no. It's like like if he referred to himself as Mario and somebody called him Mario, I'd be like, it ain't Mario, he's Mario. He didn't do that. And yeah, but I mean, going back to talking about when I first played this game, I really got into this game at the same time I got into a lot of Falcom games, which was over COVID. Dang it. Which was shortly before that, I had bought a Steam Deck, and I always kind of wanted to get into the Trails games. It's like I'm like, oh, those look really cool, like, you know, like Legend of Heroes games, which kind of just morphed into just being the Trails series at this point. But I'm like, I kind of wanted it. I didn't have them on the PSP when I had the PSP when I was younger, but it was something I always had like a passing interest in. So when I had my Steam Deck, I'm like, oh, you know what? I wanna play this, and I ended up getting Trails in the Sky, and I fell in love with the series. I remember I just sat there and played it non-stop, like, because I was late off work. I was sitting there playing it non-stop, and I should have been doing other things that needed my attention since I was off of work, but I didn't. I thought, the heck with that. I'm just gonna keep sitting here playing Trails non-stop, and arguably it was the best time of my entire life. And that's not sad, actually. It makes me happy. But I also got into, like, other Falcom games. I had played, like, the East series before, but I really got into, like, the newer games, because before then I had only played, like, I think Oath and Felghana was, like, the newest one I had played before then, and I kind of got into, like, East, like, 8 and stuff like that. But then I was going back and playing some of the older titles, and I saw this game. I saw this game listed, and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And I looked up, like, so I started playing it, and I, like, instantly had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was very confused by the game. So I looked up, like, the manuals, like, reading about it, like, trying to figure stuff out. And I was kind of spinning my wheels. I wasn't actually getting anywhere in this game. So I went ahead and looked up a guide. I looked up some guides, watched some videos, and I'm like, oh, okay. Pulled up, like, the map, figured out, like, where items are at, like, how they work, blah, blah, blah. And eventually started figuring out stuff like this, and, like, I'm like, okay, I really want to get, like this, I really want to get the dad's portion down, because, like, he is, like, his dungeon, like, again, like, the enemies are non-threatening. Gosh, there we go. The enemies are non-threatening, but, like, I couldn't get, like, his block puzzles down, so I would just, like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just, like, start up, and I'm just gonna do this portion. Because, like, if I can get over this, if I can overcome this, I think I can just beat the rest of the game. And I wasn't wrong. Like, once I, like, got this part down, I kind of was able to just sort of not really breeze through the rest of the game. I'm gonna say far from that, but, really helped me sort of take off, because, like I said, like, the enemies are trivial in this part of the game. Like, this is, I always kind of, like, thought it was, like, kind of, like, trolling the player or something, how they made, like, one of, like, the guys who's, like, kind of, like, the strongest, they give him, like, this, like, dungeon with, like, enemies that just kind of suck. Like, it's all based off of, like, solving puzzles. It's like, well, you know, we gave him this glove to manipulate blocks, so we're just gonna make everything block puzzles. And it's like, yeah, okay. And I don't know. Like, it's like, I don't know, if I want to say, like, I wish they would have, like, utilized, like, there we go, that's better. They'd have, like, I don't know, made it more combat-oriented for his, but, I guess nobody's really combat-oriented. Like, it is mostly, like, more of, like, a figuring out, like, what the game wants you to do, which a lot of games are like that. Like, there's a lot of difficult games out there that you can play where it's, like, it's kind of like one of those things that you figure out, like, once you figure out how the game wants you to play the game, you find yourself becoming a lot better at that game. Where, I mean, like, I think pretty much, like, every FromSoft game, you can kind of say that. Also, like, dang it. Alright, we got this. Dang. Yeah. We go ahead and that. There. Yeah, okay. There we go. Thought I messed up there for a second, but we're good. The Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom is another one where it's like, they could seem tricky at first, but once you figure out how the game wants you to play the game, you find it becoming a lot easier than what it was. Oh, my God. I really messed up there. I actually don't know what to do now. I don't think I can. I definitely can't reach that. Alright, so what I'm gonna do here real quick, I'm gonna pause real quick, because wait a minute, actually, I don't think I should have to pause. Yeah, I can just reset the room here. Okay. Thought for a second there I was gonna figure out how to reset the room, but now we're good. This really isn't that bad. But, yeah, anyway, as I was saying, that's pretty much how, this game is, too. Once you figure out how it wants you to play, you find the game itself becoming much easier. Which, again, like, it's like every, whether you play, like, Breath of the Wild or Dark Souls, Elden Ring, whatever, it's like you find out like the game, like a lot of people call it hard, but it's like one of those things, it's like once you figure out how the game wants you to play it, you're like, yeah, this really isn't that bad. It's like, it's all about overcoming the learning curve though, because it's like, when you take the time, I mean, it's kind of like anything in life, like when you take the time to actually like become like proficient at what you're trying to do, you realize it's like you make it look easy, but it's like because you put the time in to learn it, whereas like some people get fed up quickly and it's like, yeah, you know, it's like I'm not doing that. And sometimes you have sometimes something comes to other people easier than other people, where it's like sometimes somebody's got like just has like a natural knack for something and they're just like instantly like pretty good at it, like it just clicks for them, and you're not like one of those people where it's like, it just doesn't click for me right off the bat. Like this was one where it's like, yeah, it took me a long time to actually get down the block puzzles. But yeah, once I got it down, I'm like, okay, this is like ridiculously easy, actually, which some people are like, oh no, block puzzle, like, the block manipulation, I'm not going to say it's the block manipulation in this is easy. It's by no means easy, but it's at the same time, it's like, not hard at all, if that makes sense. Which, I get it really doesn't, but I'll go over it more in depth, I think, maybe whenever I come up to the next one. There we go, eat some green ass, heal up completely. This is what my man does. Alright, so this is sort of Dad's portion of the dungeon that is supposed to... Oh, dang it. Oh well, this is one of the reasons why when you do that, they allow you to move down here to reset the puzzle. But anyway, as I was saying, this is the part that's supposed to make it so, like, nobody else gets through his dungeon. And what that is this just basically these lines and lines of blocks that you have to move. And it's because the only other person, like, it would be Sister, who could come in here and be like, oh yeah, she could easily make it down. No, not easily, but it might be possible to get down here, but it's like I'm thinking about it. I'm actually stumping myself now, because I'm actually thinking if it would be possible for her to get here. I know it would be possible for Mum to get here. Mum definitely would not be able to do anything about this. However, Lil can use the pickaxe. And pickaxe allows you to destroy these blocks that I'm moving. And it costs like 1 magic to destroy one, and I don't think you could have enough magic. Well, if you had a potion with you, it would probably work. I might try that someday. Just bring a potion with me down here and see if I can overcome this whole puzzle with her, because there is, like, in fact, like, there are dungeons, like again, like Dog's dungeon. I'm gonna be doing that with Zemin later, just because it's easier to do it with him. Which is kind of funny, and it all comes down to the fact that the dog really doesn't actually know what items the dog can equip. So, pretty much anybody can do his dungeon. Like I said, like, what you hit with the issue with him is, dang it. Those enemies that hit like an absolute truck, but you'll see how we'll get past those later. Yeah, though, pretty much, yeah, like, everybody's dungeon sort of has portions like that, where it's like, okay, we don't want just anybody, we designed this dungeon around this character and their kit, so we're gonna make sure that other people can't come down here and do it. So, to prevent that, yeah, you just go ahead and give people, oh no, okay, we're good. Didn't want to get stuck in the spike pit there. Keep running, keep on beasting. Which is creative, because it's like, but like I said, at the same time, in my mind, how I filled it in is that it's like, they're not just going in here one at a time, that the whole family enters at the same time, and they're like, okay, we gotta do this stuff. Here's what we gotta do. Everybody goes in, everybody tackles, like, I don't know, like, their predetermined area. And since every boss is just fought in the same order, like You always fight boss. The first boss is always the first boss, no matter which dungeon it is you completed. It's still the first boss, which we're just about to come up to, actually. I say just, but we still have a little bit of more time here. We want to travel up along around here because we want to make sure, because the singular blocks on the floor there are false blocks, so we can fall through them. So we want to be careful here. No, dang it! As you can see, that's what happens. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try that again. Well, that's nice. He just fell off this. He just jumped. He despawned himself. So that's good for me. So we have to just kind of redo what we just did there, which is kind of sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But anyway, yeah, like each boss is fought in the same. No matter which dungeon you complete first, because you complete anybody's specific part of the dungeon in any order, like I said. But whoever completes theirs first will always fight the spider boss, who's the first. Oh my gosh, I am just absolutely flubbing it today. Anyway, you'll always fight the spider boss first. Always fight like the skeletal guy second. Always fight the dragon third. A dragon, not the dragon. And you always fight the golem guy last. So we're doing, like I said, we're doing Dad's dungeon first just because it's the one that I got used to doing first. And so we're gonna fight the easiest boss with him first. I would say the third boss is actually the hardest, it's my opinion. But oh, there we go. Alright, so let's see if we can actually do this right this time. Yeah! Alright, now this is a jump that I can get stuck in the spike pit with. Hopefully that won't happen. Yes! Alright, so the jump that I was most worried about, actually, is the one that I made on the first try. The one that I wasn't worried about is the one that I freaking couldn't make. Dang it. There, just kill that guy so he stopped bothering me. So anyway, we're right about at the first boss here. We're gonna fall down here, and that treasure chest that you see up over there, that's what we want. There's another way to get over here that I've done before, about like you have to surf a block like all the way over from the right over here. It's actually harder in my opinion to do it that way, so I just kind of like do it this way. I've surfed the block before, but it's kind of weird how it works, and I don't like doing it that way. Anyway, what we're all doing, everybody, there's 4 crowns to collect, and this is the first one. When you collect a crown, you get taken to a boss. And you also get dropped from the top of the screen, so you take fall damage. I always found that to be kind of weird. I don't know why they did it that way. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of body him. You gotta be careful too, because you can actually die. You can kill the boss and then die. So on certain other bosses, we'll be spamming select to pull up the item screen to try to put on like put on the shield, which we're gonna get not too much longer. But anyway, that is Dad's dungeon. We're gonna switch over to the sister now. And the sister has a pretty easy loadout here. We want the pickaxe, we want the stompers, and we want a warp crystal. So we're doing a little item hunting here. Sister is weak AF, but we didn't take the punching glove, so we aren't gonna have any boost on our attack. However, we take the stompers. So as you can see, drop down on guys, they just die. I don't know how much damage it does, but pretty much any enemy that you jump on top of will just instantly die. And it's pretty nice. I like it. Oh, so we have a very high jump, which means that she can fall, because usually I think it's like if you fall from the maximum, I don't know how far it is, like I think it's like your maximum 8 plus like another like body length of you. If you fall, you take fall damage, something like that, I think. At least that's what I kind of figured out myself. You take fall damage, but yeah, as you can see, so I'm sure you would probably, if you did imagine, you'd be right, is that a lot of her dungeon is based around jumping, because she has a very high jump. However, we're not actually doing the sister's dungeon right now. We're doing a little item collection. Because, like with Dad, how we needed, he only needed that, the glove that lets you move blocks. The sister here needs, like, again, she needs the pickaxe, and, again, like, don't quote me on this, because, again, I have my way that I play through the game. But there's definitely other ways to play through this. Like, you can have fun with it. This is just the path that I had the easiest time getting through the game with. So I did it this way. And again, I collect a lot of items that I will... Oh, dang it. I need that snake not to be there. We gotta reset the screen. Anyway, I need an extra item that we don't have right now. And to get that item, I need other items that I don't have right now. So we're collecting those other items I don't have right now to make sure. Dang it. Okay, so just so you know why I'm going off the screen, keep resetting is that snake needs to be in a specific spot so I can use it to boost jump to get another warp crystal, which is what I want to get. Because I need warp crystals. Because when you're item hunting, warp crystals are nice because he is just not cooperating today, is he? Warp crystals are nice because you don't have to backtrack all the way through the dungeon. So sort of like if you're going out like with that's why you do the dog's item hunt is like the easiest one because it's all the items are rather close to the entrance of the dungeon. Okay, I think we're good this time. Oh yeah, we're really good. Come on, don't jump out, don't jump out. Yeah. No. Oh, you son of a gun. We'll have to wait for him to come back now. But as the dog, it's pretty easy to backtrack and just go back to where you started from for his item hunt. But for the other ones, it's not so easy to just leave. So we want to have warp crystals. There's probably, I think that there are shops where you can buy warp crystals, I'm fairly certain of, but come on. Yeah, there we go. But it's just, there's plenty of them in chests throughout the game, so it's just easier to collect them this way. But again, it was another one, dang it. Alright, we're stuck. Okay, there we go. Got lucky. Oh, no. Why am I... there we go. I never have a hard time with that jump, usually. Probably because I'm recording and I was, like, screwing up everything that I normally do fine with. But, anyway, that's one of my favorite things about Metroidvanias always was sort of collecting things that allow you to explore the game. More. Which is what is incentivized. Like, again, like, you only, I have most of what I need to get through this game, because, again, like, the pickaxe, and the pickaxe is pretty much the major item that you need, and I think you could probably get through this without getting the spring shoes, but I am going to do that, simply because it's easier to do it that way, because... There's a lot of other rooms that we're not going to visit in here that kind of make this... Oops. Okay. Kind of make this dungeon a lot easier. And we're going to do a little item grind here. Is usually what I do. Because you can just sit here, keep respawning that enemy, kill him, respawn. And it's free because the stompers here don't cost any mana, magic, whatever you want to call it. I sit here and I get a key. Keys are very important. You can never have too many keys. Make sure you have some life, because for most of the time, other than like with like the first two, like with the dog, you don't need to worry because he just goes right through enemies without taking damage. Zeman hits so hard because we keep the punching level on him that like you just pretty much body everything that comes at you. Everybody else, though, you pretty much just damage boost through everything. Alright. I think that's pretty good. Alright, so we're gonna grab a couple items down here. This was a fake chest. Jumped on him. We're gonna drop down here. We have to drop down all the way down here. And we're gonna get an important item. Down here is what we're going ahead grabbing for another little item hunt, which is the wings. Mom can use the wings, and they are pretty self-explanatory. They allow you to fly. Oh, dang it. There we go. And I don't need this item, but I always like to showcase it over here. This is a little area over here where we can get a rod. A rod doubles the range of anybody who can equip it. That doubles the range of their attack. It's not particularly good. Now see, I can jump up here. This place is kind of a pain to get through. But see, I can jump up here and I can grab a key too. So now I got a lot of keys. I could stay at an inn here if I needed to. Or I can't really get out of here. So what we do is we just gotta backtrack now with the orb. It is possible to jump your way out of there, but it's entirely just obnoxiously hard. So we don't do it. The royal we, I don't do it. But again, we're almost pretty much at the item loadout that we want. We're just gonna go ahead and grab this, and we're gonna grab one more item, and it's what allows... Dang it, that was terrible. Okay, so we're gonna make that same item loadout. Again. Alright, now this time we're not gonna accidentally walk back inside. So what we do here is we go through, we have to grab the last item that Mom needs, and that's going to be all of her stuff. That's going to be all the stuff that she needs to be able to get through her dungeon. However, we also don't want to do her dungeon second, and it's because for Lil to reach the sister here, for her to be able to reach the, why am I drawing a blank here? Oh, for her to be able to reach her boss at the end of her dungeon, she needs a very specific loadout. And it makes it easy. Since the second boss is a lot easier than the third boss, it's just easier for her to go fight her boss second. But she can't reach her boss right now, so we need to grab an item from Mom's dungeon first, which is what we're doing. However, we can't do Mom's dungeon yet until we get another item for her, which is just easier to grab this way. And also, we need Lil to go down here anyway, because there's a secret shop here. Sells the dragon shield that we just got there. That shield protects you from projectiles. As you saw in the first boss, he just sits there and like freaking pelts projectiles at you. This protects you from those. So we had to take her down here anyway, so while we're down here, we're gonna go ahead and grab an item. Just so we do more than just one thing on a trip. And also it makes one less pit stop that Mom has to make when she's down here. But yeah, it's actually, and another one of the things I do love about this game is just how charming it is. It's just about the little family going along on an adventure, slaying a dragon. That's a whole family activity. And that is the charm that you see in a lot of Falcom games. Oh my god. I feel like there's something stuck in my throat. Anyway, there's a lot of the charm that you see in a lot of Falcom games is just stuff like this. Like I always love like the same thing like the Trails games. Like like the characters are always very charming. The worlds are very nice. Music's good. Like it just, I don't know, they're just nice games. I like them because they're nice. So anyway, we came all the way up here and we grabbed the key stick. Key rod, key staff, staff with keys, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it's actually called. All I know is that you unlock doors with it. And it costs magic instead of keys. So, as one could imagine, that will allow Mom here to unlock doors with magic. Meaning that one of the things about her dungeon to make sure other people aren't going around in there is that you need a lot of doors unlocked. So what we got here in this loadout is we got wings, we got a staff that moves some blocks, and we got the key stick. So the wings, self-explanatory, we can fly. So anybody who can take that way, we want to take that way, because it's a much quicker way to enter the dungeon. And we're going to be falling a lot more. But yeah, so we got everything that we need. We're going to go into the dungeon. He's fairly strong. She's not as strong as Dad or as the dog, but she hits harder than the daughter and the son who hit like wet noodles. So it allows pretty easy. Now this is the probably this is probably the hardest. Yeah, this is definitely the hardest dungeon to get through. And one of the weird things about this is that yes, the staff does just basically make these blocks go absolutely bonkers. And we're gonna do a little farm here, a little farm. Mostly because we spent all of our gold on the on that shield. We want to make sure that we have enough to stay at some inns, because as you can see, look, Mom already like hemorrhaging health, and those poison potions really didn't help there. But she loses a lot of health throughout her dungeon. It's probably the most dangerous. So I always do a little grind here. Make sure I get some, well, that's fantastic. We're gonna go up here and just reset that. Alright. Anyway, as I was saying, I do a little grind here to make sure I get some spare gold. Just so I can stay at some inns and I know that I'm safe. Alright, so it looks like they're not really dropping gold anymore, so we're gonna go ahead in. We got enough. We got plenty, because it's only 10 gold. Every inn costs the same, because like I said, in my mind, they're all the same, same inns anyway. We're gonna stop here. Grab a quick heal. Because I don't want to go right into the dungeon with nothing. And, as you can see, it's like most of these enemies, like a lot of them are just like kind of like recolored. But we're kind of just damage boosting through everything because we don't want to be attacking as much because, again, like, Mom is a magic heavy character. Like, she constantly, like, all of her puzzles require her using magic. Like, whether you're flying, whether you're using the key stick to unlock doors, or you're using or you're manipulating blocks, everything costs magic, so. And you're gonna find yourself, like, rather low at a lot of times, so it's just easier to not attack and damage boost. Because as you can see, I'm just using magic constantly. So we're gonna go ahead over to here. We're taking the middle door here. The middle door will not take us where we want to go. And it's like, well, why would you do that? Well, we need to go ahead and grab another warp crystal, because we need warp crystals. They're important, because we are not actually completing... We're actually going to go, like, 80% through Mom's dungeon and then leave. So, that kind of sucks, but... Again, it's simply for boss order. You want the daughter to fight the second boss. I do anyway. Because, like I said, the third and fourth bosses are much, much harder. But, it's actually probably one of my biggest complaints. The bosses in this game are kind of like... They don't look bad. They actually all look perfectly fine. It's just like, they're kind of like... I don't know, it's like kind of like the enemies, too. The enemies just kind of exist. Like, look at this. They just kind of move around. They exist, but there's nothing like... It's kind of weird how they just kind of move like that. They're like, that guy. Like, you got a Scorpion there just, like, moving back and forth. You got, like, that, like, Moblin-looking guy. You can jump. These guys that just, like, float through the air, just flying all over the place. We take that little road down here. They extend to some caves. But you know what? There's some archaic things about this game, but I'll say they don't make them like they used to. Now, some indie Metroidvanias are freaking fantastic. But most, there's a lot of first-party games, or like first-party developers, second-party developers, whatever the heck you all got out there, that just, they're just slop peddlers now. Like, make, like, quad A games. Like, yeah, it's like $1 billion to make this game, dude. And then, like, the game's just, like, absolutely horrendous. But, like, I don't know. Some guy tells you it's, like, the best game you ever played, and you look at it, and it's like, this game sucks. Like, I don't know in what world you would say this game was anything but, like, just bad. This game's bad. This is a game. But, like, I mean, you get, like, the closest thing I can think of, like, recently of getting, like, a real, like, major Metroidvania developed game was, like, Metroid Dread, which was, like, I don't know, probably, like, my hot take of the day here is that game sucks. Like, I wish I could just say that the game was, like, okay. I'd probably be, like, okay if the game was, like, okay. I mean, it sold, I played it, and I thought it kind of sucked. But, you know, I mean, that's just, like, my opinion. I mean, if you love Metroid Dread, I mean, I don't feel bad about it, but, like, it was a game that I really wanted to like, too, because, like, as soon as, like, it was announced, I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get this game, I gotta play it, I gotta do this, that, and the other, whatever. And I put a lot of time into it, and I kept trying, because it's one of those things, like, you get it with, like any form of media, whether it be games, books, movies, TV shows, where, like, think you should like it, so you keep going back to it, you keep trying it, you keep putting time and effort into it, and eventually you're just like, because you're like, eventually this is gonna get good. And that eventually just never happens. And that's what happened with me with, like, Metroid Dread. Like, this is eventually gonna be a game that I like, and it didn't really ever happen. Because there's plenty of games that, like, pretty much anybody's gonna come by here and be like, I think, and that's something that I think anybody can kind of relate to. Because, like, there's tons of stuff out there that, like, I like that other people don't like, so, like, I get, like, that people like Metroid Dread and I don't, but I think the worst part about it is the amount of time I put into it, kept thinking eventually it's gonna get good, and it just never, in my opinion, just never got good. And I think everybody's probably experienced something like that before, where there's, like, something that came out and it's like, this has to be something I like. It has to be. And you keep trying and trying and trying, and at the end of the day, you're just like, I don't like this. And that's fine. It sucks when it happens. I mean, sometimes the exact opposite happens, too, where you're like, oh man, this is just not gonna be my cup of tea. One of the things I always remember when I, with that story is, back in the early 2000s when first Fire Emblem game came to the West on GBA, and I was pumped to get this game. I wanted it so bad. Of course, I do, like, again, like, nobody gets scared. I love the game. I still love the GBA Fire Emblems. They're probably my favorite to go back and revisit of the Fire Emblem games are the GBA ones. But I have a buddy, still a friend of mine, who really just didn't think. He's like, yeah, he's like, whatever. He's like, yeah, I saw that's coming out. He's like, he didn't think much of it. I'm like all pumped up about it. Couldn't stop talking about it. I eventually get the game. I'm playing it. And I remember going over to his house. He saw it. He's like, oh, it looks kind of cool. And I'm like, oh, here. I'm like, go ahead. I'm like, go ahead and try it. And it's like, he pops it into his Game Boy Advance, starts a new game, starts playing it, and, like, he's playing it for, like, 10, 20 minutes, and he's like, I have to play this game more. And I think my mom came to pick me up, and I'm like, he's enjoying it so much, and, like, I was stuck in, there was a chapter that I was, like, stuck at, and I was, like, spinning my wheels, and, like, it was, like, the guys I was using were so bad, and I had so many guys die that I'm like, you know what, I gotta start a new game anyway, how about you borrow this for a little while, and you play. He did. And, yeah, I mean, that was it. I mean, it was one of those games that, like, he saw it and didn't think, like, for sure, it's like, I don't think I'm gonna like that game. And then he actually plays it for a little, like, I'm talking, like, it was almost, like, instantaneous as soon as he started playing it. He's like, I want more of this game. Which is always cool when that happens, because it's like, that's why I always try to keep like an open mind, because even it's like, you know, I really don't like how that looks, but it's like, I'm gonna go ahead and give this game a try. Or you don't want to give it a try because you don't want to just spend money on something that you already think, it's like, I'm not gonna like this, but then you see somebody else play, and it's like, holy smokes, I really want this. And I always remember that story with me and him, about like, hey, you know what, sometimes something doesn't look too good to you, but then you actually give it a shot, and it's like, yeah, this is actually something that's really cool. That was, now, sometimes you actually get, this looks really cool, and then you get it, and it is really cool. For me, that was Octopath Traveler. The first thing that jumps to mind for me was, I remember watching, like, the demo, watching, like, the trailer for it, and then playing the demo, and I'm like, I could not wait to get more. Still one of my favorite job systems in any games. I just love Octopath Traveler. You get sidelined. The story's not awful, but, like, in subsequent replays, I just always skip all the cutscenes, because I'm like, I don't care. I just want to play the really, really fun game that I like. And, yeah, that's kind of how it goes with that. And then you have, like, other games where it's like, oh my god, I can't wait to play this. And then you play it, and you don't like it, but then you actually give it time, and you do like it. Because, like, it's like I was talking about, like, Metroid Dread. I put a lot of time into it, and it just never seemed to work out. Like, it never, like, clicked with me. Like, it just never seemed like a game that I was, like, really into. But a game that actually did, I had to put a lot of time into it because I didn't like it at first, and I eventually did come around to really liking it, was Breath of the Wild. And I still will argue that Breath of the Wild is not really a Zelda game. I mean, it is a Zelda game, but it's not. But, I did not like it for, like, the longest time. I had to keep going back and making myself, like, replay it, and eventually it was one of those things where, like, yes, it clicked with me, and now I love Breath of the Wild. I go back, I revisit it all the time. I'm constantly exploring Hyrule and having a great time every time I do it. So essentially there, I just grabbed the spring boots. You have to pretty much teleport out of there, see how much life I hemorrhaged going off from those guys there, so... Now we're gonna actually do Lil's dungeon, because I have everything. The sister. I've got everything. The daughter, the sister, whatever that you want to call her. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, whatever. We're gonna grab this stuff, and we're gonna go ahead and just clobber this dungeon real quick. But yeah, I mean, that was one of those games out there where it's like, yeah, I mean, I had to put a lot of time into it. And eventually, when I did really come around and really, really appreciated Breath of the Wild, I then went and played through Tears of the Kingdom, and... loved it. I still would say that I am in the boat. The Breath of the Wild is a better game, my opinion only. I'm not the only person with that opinion, but I'm just prefacing it that way, so you know, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm not saying this is objective fact here. Don't take it with a grain of salt, but I do. I just like Breath of the Wild better, which is, you know, it is what it is, you know. You think a lot of people think Tears of the Kingdom better. I know there's a lot of other people out there that think Breath of the Wild better, but like, not this in Tears of the Kingdom. Fantastic game, but like, if I want to play a game in that style, I'm gonna find myself going back to Breath of the Wild and not really Tears of the Kingdom. But that is another way where it's like, sometimes it's like, why I will make myself play a game over and over, thinking like, you know, eventually one of these times I'm going to something's gonna click with me, and I'm really going to like this game. And actually, can I jump up here? No, we don't want to go that way. Yeah, but with me, Metroid Dread just that moment never happened. There was never like, okay, this game is, I get this game now, I know what it's trying to do, and I really like this game now. That moment, I never had that moment. And maybe I should try it again, because like, I probably put like 10 hours into Metroid Dread, and I'd say I probably played these. Before I really liked Breath of the Wild, I probably had at least 30 hours into it, because I was really just like absolutely I was just dead set on beating the game. I reached a point where it's like, I just want to beat this game. And I did. And again, it was kind of funny, because the first time I beat the game, I'm like, yeah, this game's like, okay. I really don't care. But like, it was when I started a new game, and I was actually able to like really approach things differently. Like, since I understood the game at this point, I really found myself having a ton of fun progressing through the game with more knowledge of how to do it. So, I don't know, maybe that's a game I should go back and revisit. And, because again, I'm yapping on and on incessantly about this, and it's because this was one of those games where it's like, I know I should like this game, but like, I'm just spinning my wheels constantly, and it was, I'd say it has a bit of a lower learning curve, because it is an older game. So, like, there's like a lot less moving parts, so to speak. So, like, once I did get this game, like, I'm like, I really got it. And I'm like, oh, wow, I have a ton of fun just, like, kind of going through it. And this is, again, just a video for me, like, playing through it. But, like, I'll probably will, after this, eventually come back and, like, revisit it and actually, like, really explore the game. Because there's, like, a lot of rooms that we're not visiting because they don't really serve a purpose. And, like, if I want to, I don't want to, like, have, like, a 5-hour video of me just playing this game, like, going through every nook and cranny. But I could have, like, a follow-up video where I kind of do some more in this game, where it's like, okay, here's some, like, rooms we skipped over, and you'll kind of get, like, a good idea of why we skipped over them, because there's just, like, kind of a ton of rooms that just have nothing in them. Nothing of consequence, anyway, I should say. So, yeah, spring shoes. You just saw a use for the spring shoes was kind of get to here. And I'd say it's been a long time since I've played through. I know I played through this game using alternate paths before, but I know this is just kind of like the easiest one for me. I think there is a way to do this without the spring shoes. I think like the alternate path is just very long, and really not interested in doing it. So that chest right there is what we need for the that's the crown. So we're at the end of the dungeon already, so you can see this dungeon is pretty quick. And we want to have the punchy glove, the pickaxe, and okay. There we go. So, and this is why we want to do her dungeon second as well, is that it requires these items to go ahead. I didn't actually even need these. We're going to go ahead and jump over to the other side of it. Now, there's 2 false blocks that you can see that are right in front of me. This is a solid block that I'm on. It's a tricky jump, though, because you can move a lot onto a false block before it gives way. So you have to make sure you jump at, like, the absolute last moment. I can't believe I did that on the first try, actually. I hardly ever get that on the first try. And grab that. And here we are, second boss time. This one, again, is... I'd actually argue this one's probably the easiest boss in the game. So we're gonna go ahead, this guy's gonna come over. There he is. Dead. That's it. That's kind of it. You just bam attacks. You always want your punchy glove on, though, so you can just absolutely massacre him, because that gives her, again, her strength's only 1, so that makes her attack 4, so her attack's barely stronger than, like, Dad's and Dog's base attack, like, barely stronger. So now we're gonna go ahead and do Mum's Dungeon, which you're familiar with. You saw me go through, like, 80% of it. There we go. But I guess, like, the whole moral of the story here is enjoy what you want, but again, like, sometimes you do need to give games second chances, and me going through this is thinking, it's like, maybe I should give Metroid Dread another chance, but I don't like the combat. It's really one of those things, it's like, it's just kind of dumb to me, you know? It's like, when I play, like, Metroid, it's like, I just kind of, like, I can always go back to Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, and, like, I just go back and have fun, and it's like, then they had, like, this, like, weird combat to it, where it's like that, like, parry system and whatever, and it's like, I don't want this in Metroid. I did appreciate, like, them adding in, like, some difficulty with the bosses and stuff. It's like, yeah, you know what, that's alright. It's like, but it's just not fun, you know? What do we got here? Got some money. Figure out that though you never have too much money. And now we just have to go all the way back through here again. That's other games. I mean, oh, another game. And again, usually what it is sometimes there are games with learning curves, which I'll end up just dropping and then, like, picking up, and it's like, have that eureka moment. Yeah, we're still getting on our loadout. Good example of that was Cyberpunk 2077, which I actually did buy on for my Switch too, because I like owning my games, guys. I wouldn't have bought it if it was a keycard game. I mean, like, considering how much outrage there is over the keycards, I don't understand why Nintendo, like, Nintendo has to be aware, and, like, everybody's always like, oh yeah, Nintendo greedy, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, but, like, they usually listen to certain amount of, like, complaints, and you think that would be one of them, where it's like, hey guys, how about we, like, don't do keycards because people actually want to own their games, because it's like, yeah, like, you have, like, stuff like, it's like you can own, like get, like, buy a digital game, but it's like, you don't really, like, buying a digital game isn't owning that game. It's like, you're just kind of, like, allowed to, like, download and play it. It's like, I'd like to have a physical cartridge with my game on it. And that's, again, I mean, primary reason is, the reason why, a game that I already own, Cyberpunk 2077, I bought to have a physical copy on my Switch too. Because it's like, yeah, I have it on Steam, and again, Steam is kind of like where, like, I played it quite a bit and dropped it, because it's like, I wasn't understanding it, but, like, I knew it was a game that, like, it was a game I really wanted to go back and play, and I'm like, oh, well, I can get a physical copy on Switch too, I got it, and I played it, and I'm like, okay, I really freaking love this game, and now I actually own it. Like, I have the cartridge, I can play it. And actually, I was rather crestfallen when I found out, it's like, Octopath Traveler 0 got announced. I'm like, I gotta get this game. And then I saw the box, and it's like keycard, and I'm like, please tell me. I'm like, hopefully, I don't want this to be true. And I look it up, and of course, some dude on Reddit's like, he's like, oh yeah, Octopath Traveler keycard only, and it's like, why do you do this to me? I think it's only the Switch 2 version, though. I think the Switch 1 version is, like the regular game, but at the same time, it's like, come on. Why do you have to... Why don't you just put the game on the freaking cartridge, man? Just put the game... Yeah, like, just put it in the bag, you know? Just put the game in the bag. Just put the game on the cartridge. Just do it! Just do it! They won't do it. They won't put my games on my cartridges. So I'm being very persnickety about it, where it's like, if a game, I refuse to buy a Switch 2 game that is a key, like a game key or key card or whatever insane heck you want to call it. So yeah, more or less was like, if you release a game that I like on the Switch 2, and it is the full game on the cartridge, I will indeed buy it. However, if you don't, I won't get it. Now, you have, like, obviously, like, so I can buy Octopath Traveler 0 for the Switch 1, play it on my Switch 2, and have the full game on the cartridge. That's cool. What's not cool is, I can't even buy an upgrade. I think that's another thing they're saying, you can't even buy, like, the Switch 2 upgrade for your Switch 1 game for your Switch 2. So, what's the point, then? Like, it's like, either buy it for Switch 1 or Switch 2. If I buy it for Switch 1, so I can actually own the physical game cartridge and not, like, a game key, why would why do this? Why not just release the full key? Why not just release the entire game on the Switch 2 cartridge? Because it's like, I buy physical games, so I have access to said game. Say it another here. And it's like, yeah, because it's like, I own these things. And I also am a retro game collector. I use that in air quotes because it's like I collect games that like I played when I was a kid. Like I collect a lot of like Sega Genesis and GBA are probably like my biggest collections. And like they don't feel like retro games. It's like I grew up with these, and it's like yeah, it's like old man yells at cloud over here. It's like yeah, I get it. Like those games came out forever and a day ago at this point. But hey, you know what? I mean, they're not old to me, okay? But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, like, I'll still keep my retro, because again, like, it's like, oh, well, you can just go out and emulate these games. It's like, yeah, but, like, see, there's some of my favorite games, and I like to play them as they are. It's actually one of the things, I've got I have an analog pocket, which is nice, so it allows me to play my cartridges authentically. They're not emulated, they're actually played, like, natively on there. And I've got a docking station for it and all that stuff, so I can hook it up to my capture card, just like I got my Switch 2 hooked up right now, and I can play those games and record videos or make streams of me playing these games, and it's authentic. I don't have to emulate it. And it's like, it's just a personal preference. Like, nothing against emulation. Like, for sure, there's games out there that I emulate. It's like, dude, I love this game and I'd love to own it, but it's like ridiculous. Like, okay, so in like the age of the internet, nothing's hard to find, quote unquote, but some games are just ridiculously overpriced, and it's like, yeah, I really don't want to spend that much money on this game. But at the same time, it's like, if I really like a game, I like to own the game still. I like to have a physical copy of the game, be like, this is mine, I can play it, and I like to play it authentically too, because that's one of the reasons I got the analog pocket. Oh, that's right, I already grabbed that chest. I was over here yapping away. I just, it's kind of like on autopilot. Yeah, we got plenty of money. We should be good here. Actually, I think we're good. Yeah, I should be good to finish off this next part with only have to say one in. Anyway. I think it's just being, dang it, I couldn't kill him. Anyway, I think it's just being pro-consumer. That's my opinion, anyway. Is allowing people to buy things and own them. Like, I spend money. Money was exchanged. Money changed hands, as Andrew Ryan said. I mean, yeah, if I'm paying for something, I should own the rights to that cartridge that I bought, right? It would be mine. Alright, we're gonna stay at an inn because, like, I don't know, I'm just nervous with how low my, freaking cash, or my life is right now. I got plenty of money, so we're gonna go ahead and spend it. We're gonna shell out some cash here. We're gonna sell it for cash. But anyway, we got money now again. Those green guys are the ones that always make me nervous too, because they hit like a truck, I think. Yeah, look at that. A lot of life lost. Alright, so now we're gonna go on over here. Go on now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, simply my 2 cents. I don't believe I'm being unreasonable here. Like, especially with Nintendo. Like, again, like, you had, like, Sony, like, I haven't bought a PlayStation console in forever. But, like, what, wasn't there, like, the PS5 where it's like, oh, you don't even have to get the disc drive, dude. It's like, you can just, like, freaking buy the digital only. It's like, yeah, why would I want that, though? Why wouldn't I want to actually own my games? And, I like Nintendo's better anyway. I actually prefer the game cards themselves to discs. Because, I mean, first of all, I mean, you do help eliminate load times and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, I feel like cartridges cartridges and stuff went from being went from being like the premium to being like archaic. It's like, yeah, dude, it's like, oh, dude, you're playing Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64's got like crap. Nintendo 64's got the cartridges. It's like, I got PS1 discs, and it's like, yeah. And the PS1 ended up, yeah, being like, there's two consoles I absolutely love. But like you can't argue that the discs. You can't argue that the disc didn't allow for more stuff. I'm really like at a loss for words right now. But like, you got like so much more out of it. Like, you couldn't have had Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9 on the Nintendo 64. They did not say Nintendo 64 didn't have very impressive games. No, you had Majora's Mask, you had Banjo-Tooie, you had Donkey Kong 64, which you need the expansion pack. But that's really it. I mean, that's like the brass tacks of it all. Is that now we kind of came back around to where like the Alright, so now we actually have to change our loadout. Ugh. The games did go back, and it's like I like the game cards better. That's really the long short of it. Is like discs now kind of feel like archaic to me, where it's like we kind of went full circle. Okay, so I want this, I want this. We need the wings. Okay, so we unlocked all those doors specifically to just be able to do. Grab my wings. And like, I don't know. I just like the Switch's design better. I like the game cards better. And it's like, just give me the game. Like, I don't need to worry about going out there. I mean, the biggest thing I have to worry about with like buying GBA games is like going out there and worrying about some shyster out there who's selling me like a reproduction cart, which is pretty easy to actually be able to tell what is. Oh, we want to put the shield because it was projectiles. But all right, here he is. That was I didn't even take any damage on the boss himself. I had that exact one. That's the best. Wow. That's usually the one that I'm more, but that if I do die on a boss, that's usually the one. Heck yeah. You do have to worry about people making, reproduction carts and then selling them to you. That was the third one. Okay, so we're taking Dad here. Oh, we do Dog's Dungeon with the Dad. Dad does this. I think this is pretty much all we need right there. Boom, that's it. Right there. Anyway, let's get my brain stopped there. Oh yeah, reproduction cards. They're pretty easy to spot. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like you get used to spotting. Like, I specifically bought one reproduction card before. Like, it was obvious. First of all, you can tell because the price was ridiculously cheap. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy one. And it was simply just so I could actually examine it myself, like, in hand. Like, you can see pictures of reproduction cards and stuff, but, like, actually, like, hold it in my hand, look at it, and, like, get a feel for it. And it actually did help me then, like, visually be able to, like, just look out and pick it out and be like, okay, yeah, that's a reproduction card. Or, like, I'm pretty easy now, like look up there and, like, tell. It's like, pricing is always a big one to watch out for. Because that's always one way they'll get you. And it's also kind of funny, too. The analog pocket's really neat, because, like, anytime I've ever put... Again, I only have one reproduction cart. So, I want to say that this would probably be true on all of them, but it was definitely true on the one that I have, is that if you put it in the analog pocket, it won't come up with, like, the, it'll come up with, like, the splash screen. They'll tell you it's, like, what game you have in there before, like, you play the cartridge. It doesn't come up with that for a reproduction card. It just starts playing it like it's an emulated version. I'm going the wrong way here. But, yeah, like, it's pretty obvious. It's like, not only is it reproduction, but it's pretty obvious that they made it. They're crap. Just gonna stop mincing words here. They're all crap. So, you want an authentic game. And that's why I got there for it. And sometimes you do, like, even like cheaper GBA games. Like, pretty much, like, unless you're buying, like, one of those, like, shovelware games. Because, believe me, GBA had shovelware on it. Holy smokes. Like, those games you can buy for dirt cheap, and it's because nobody wants them. Like, unless you're trying to have, like, a 100% GBA collection, like, I want every single GBA game ever produced. You're not buying, like, the Bratz GBA game. Like, unless for some reason, like, it's like, oh, shoot. I gotta watch out. I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, unless you're going out there and buying, like, the Bratz game, because it's like, hey, I want to have, like, every single GBA game, that's not one that you're gonna buy. You're gonna go on there, you're gonna look at some guy selling GBA games, you're gonna be like, yeah, the heck, I don't want that. And, but, like, most of the games on there, it's like, and it depends on, like, where it comes out. Like, the Final Fantasy games on the GBA, like, what is it, like, you can usually get, like, I don't know, like, I think they're, like, around, like, 30-ish, $30 to $50-ish for, like, 4 and, 5, but, like, yeah, Final Fantasy 6, because it came out towards the end of the GBA's lifespan. I think the DS is already out by the time, Final Fantasy 6 on the GBA came out. That's expensive. And it's because, yeah, it was like, at the end of, when the newer console was already out, so probably had a shorter print life, and of course it's Final Fantasy 6. It's a darling of the series for good reason. I love Final Fantasy 6. I just played through my version of Final Fantasy 6 on the GBA not too long ago. And it's because, well, it's a fantastic game. Like, there's really no other reason other than that. And that's usually my preferred way to play through the Final Fantasy SNES trilogy, is play through on the GBA trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. Because my first time playing Final Fantasy 4 was actually the GBA version. Dang. I don't remember if I tried to emulate it on the SNES before, because I probably did, and I didn't really care for it. I ended up getting it, like, with some money that I saved up. I ended up buying Final Fantasy 4 on my GBA, and I loved it. And I get it. I mean, there is some problems with Final Fantasy 4 on the GBA. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I don't really particularly care for the pixel remasters, and that really just comes down to an aesthetic thing for me. I am not a big fan of how they look. And also, I wish they would have kept in, because again, it's supposed to be authentic to the SNES version, but like, the optional content added into the GBA versions were nice. I mean, like, even in the, I think in Dawn of Souls, the 1 and 2 collection, I think the PSP even has more content than the GBA version does. So that's like another thing out there. It's like, you know, that's just, like, if you're gonna have another re-release, why not add that content in there? I just died. That's alright, we're gonna continue. Yep. I think continue, right? That's what I want, right? Yeah. We're back here, Dad's back. We're just back here. Yeah, we still have everything, we just have to do that again. That's weird though. Oops, I didn't mean to grab that. Typically, that's not how that works. Usually, if you... that specific way, if you jump up into it while wearing armor, it should kill that enemy. He does one-shot you, typically, but, why I do this dungeon with Dad, I can't remember the last time that actually happened to me. Oh well. Anyway, as I was saying... I don't know, I guess I just like the, GBA versions. They do have their share of problems, but, I don't know, the additional content, I just have fun with them. I would say, yeah, I'm fine with playing either those or the SNES versions are still fine. I don't really like the pixel remasters. Like, they do have, I mean, they got quality of life, so you can turn off random encounters. You can speed up the game. Yeah, I mean, for, like, more of a quote-unquote modern audience. I don't know why I put on armor for that, whatever. I'm guessing I'm a little frustrated now, because, I mean, again, like, as you can see, Dog's Dungeon's short, but it's kind of just stupid. If If I die again doing that, I'm just gonna do the dungeon as the dog. Because it shouldn't actually be very difficult to get through this. There we go. Now we're running. Now we're cooking here. Whatever, I got money. But, okay, so back on track here. I just don't like the pixel remasters. But like I said, like, with those quality of life things alone, that can be a difference maker for a lot of people out there. It can be like, you know what? I don't have all the time in the world. I want to play through these games. I want to enjoy them. I'm going to go ahead and speed up. Use the speed up feature. I'm going to just use the speed up feature, grind. And then when I think I'm go ahead and do this, because not say I haven't done that in games before, because what you can do is you just speed up, grind, and then you turn off encounters, do a dungeon, fight the boss, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, you can do that. It kind of, like, removes, like, 90% of the difficulty from the game, but you can do that. Because it's like, you know, or, like, again, especially, like, let's look at Final Fantasy 1, for instance. Final Fantasy 1 has, like, an atrocious encounter rate. And I mean that when I say Final Fantasy 1... People are like, oh yeah, dude, I want to go back and play like early Final Fantasies. Like, how much grinding is required? It's like, oh, what do you want to play? It's like, I want to play Final Fantasy 1. Well, no grinding is required. And they're like, oh, okay, this is good. It's a well-balanced game. And it's like, well, yeah, no grinding is required because you're going to run into an encounter like every step. Like, it's not because, like, it is technically well-balanced because you're never going to need to grind because you're going to fight so many freaking battles. But, that's how, like, again, like, 4 is probably the first one that's, like, really, like, up there where it's, like, the encounter rate still kind of, the encounter rate for Final Fantasy 4 is high compared to modern encounter rates in, like, games that still have random battles in them. But it's more like, oh, yeah. But it's not nearly as bad as Final Fantasy 1 encounter rates, and you can still, as long as you're just fighting battles. And Final Fantasy 1 does kind of, Final Fantasy 4 does kind of, like, demand that you, understand its game. Like, if you understand how to play Final Fantasy 4, the game is quite easy, especially the GBA, because the GBA is based off of the Japanese easy type version. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Alright, let's see. This shouldn't be fun. Okay, I don't know why that's not working. So we're just gonna play through as the dog. Continue. Alright, dog, you're up. I don't even know what the dog can equip. He can equip the shield, he's good. He can equip that, I think actually the shield should be all he freaking needs. Alright, so we're gonna go and we're gonna fight this dog. I usually fight it as Zemin. Simply because Zemin hits way harder. He hits 4 times harder than the dog with the punchy glove. But, you know, the game's just gonna... You know what? We're done. I don't know why. I never have a problem with... Usually that always works with the treasure chest. If I stand below it, and I jump up at it with the armor on, it just dies. I don't know, that's weird, though. Like I said, we'll just do... I'm gonna eat my own words here now. I say don't do the dog's dungeon as the dog. I'm doing dog's dungeon as the dog. You're seeing it here, folks. And then, because I do say that I do like that with like Final Fantasy VII. I like playing through it on my Switch version because pretty much one of the biggest things I like about it actually is just farming limit break. Is just sitting around instead of having to like go through the entire game and like having to like use limit breaks, unlock them. I just turn on like where the limit break's always on and just spam them in random encounters until I learn new limit breaks. That's just that's a nice little quality thing. And I think it does. It's been a while since I played Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, but I think it does have the speed up function, which is not. Yeah, I want to say I'm fairly certain that it has this function. And again, that's another thing too, because like even in like battles are pretty quick though. Like Final Fantasy VII battles are quick. Like even in like Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII battles are quick. Most Final Fantasies they are. I mean, that's always like the telltale sign of like a good turn-based RPG to me is battles should be. Battles should be. It's kind of hard to find like the balance of frequency. But like Octopath Traveler is kind of like a game that I really like with that. Is it's like the frequency of random encounters feels good, and how quickly battles move feels good too. And again, it's a simple mechanic too, where it's like find out an enemy's weakness. Like, all right, find its weakness, break it, and then just beat it. Just beat it. Michael Jackson said it first, but he was right. Just beat it. And Final Fantasy, especially like what's called the quote-unquote golden age of Final Fantasy, which I do agree with, which is 4 through 10. They are all great games. And really, you can start with any of them. Like, especially like if you have a budding interest, it's like yeah, you know what? I really like turn-based RPGs. I want to get into like Final Fantasies. I want to play like the golden age turn-based ones. I'd say like really the only wrong one to start with would be 5. 5 is actually one of my favorites, but it is probably has like the harshest learning curve. Yeah, the learning curve of Final Fantasy 5 is just, oh my gosh. And of course now I miss the jump. Job system's a lot of fun though, and I love the quirky dialogue of 5. 5 is kind of like, again, it's a not to say it's like a non-serious game, because obviously it's like still serious, like, oh, gotta save the world, blah blah blah. But like the character interactions are much more lighthearted and kind of quirky instead of like being very serious. And that's kind of one of the reasons like Final Fantasy V is just like kind of like a fun game to play. And of course, like 4 is a lot. 6 is a nice balance. 6 has like some very charming very charming ensemble cast of characters, as well as having some quirky dialogue and lighthearted moments in it. Alright. Dang it. There we go. Alright, now we're good. As you can see, that's how you're supposed to do this. We should still be able to... Oh, shoot. I didn't press down. We should still be able to do this pretty easily. Seeing as how I'm more or less, like, I'm just going to keep this equipped the entire time. We're going to hide from this guy over here. Oh, shoot, he, like... There we go, we got him. Whew! That was close. I didn't realize... Jeez, he hit me like a truck. Because I was immune to his projectiles, but him touching me did. Damn it. Okay. So we are more or less at the end of the game now. Got a hair in my mouth. There. So now here we are. We're finally grabbing Junior here. He's ready. So pretty much all he has to do is just grab get the Dragon Slayer sword and finish the game. So we're gonna grab this, and I don't think I actually pointed it out, so shame on me. The Dragon Slayer sword is in Lil's dungeon. You could, the sister, daughter, whatever you want to call her, it is there, and that's where we're gonna go back and get it. So, got an equipped crown. We're gonna go down there and do that. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy VI, again, that's one of my favorites for simple reasons. You've got the ensemble cast. You've got also those goddess pictures where we can teleport at those if you press up with a crown equipped. In fact, I shouldn't even have the crown equipped just in case I don't want to accidentally teleport at one I don't want to teleport at. But the ensemble cast, the charming characters, the light-hearted moments, like you always like again, like Celeste is actually my favorite Final Fantasy character in any Final Fantasy game. In fact, I do play Magic the Gathering, and she is the commander in my Final Fantasy themed deck because she is my favorite character. And oh, I absolutely adore Locke too. Locke is one of my other favorite characters. But yeah, I mean, the game's just fun, great storytelling. I mean, without getting into any spoilers for anybody who's like, oh, you know what, I've always like thought about playing some, you know, actually I want to hit the in here quick. Because there's a lot of threat of dying, actually. Junior here, despite the fact you don't play as him a lot, he frickin' sucks. So, he has, like, high chances of dying at, like, any freaking given moment. But, shouldn't have done that. What was I thinking? So, yeah, no, I mean, those are all games, like... all games that are worth visiting. Oh, shoot. Okay, I don't want to be here, actually. I want to be here. I was zoning out because I was thinking about, like, Lil. That's usually going Lil's way, but, yeah, we want to go this way. And I'll stay at another inn. Okay, so we're good on health. There was another inn there, but we're good on health. And we're gonna go ahead and visit this one. Okay, so we've got to do the same thing that we did with Lil here. We want to boost jump over there, and we want to use this teleporter. He didn't come all the way over. Not coming over. Not coming over. You want to see that guy zooming. Come on. Oh, here we go, here we go. We got him this time. Ah. Which allows us to go up over here. Now this one you gotta be careful with. Hold left so we don't miss. That's fine, because we got the boost jump. Over here, here. Oh, what do we got? We got the Dragon Slayer sword, baby! We're ready to go fight the final boss. Oh, and what an adventure it has been. Most of the time just yapping here about games that should have been or could have been, or why buying isn't owning anymore, and we just live in a we don't live in a society anymore. We live in a place where I'm not allowed to own my dang video games, and I want them back. But man, that's why I like a lot of my favorites, dude. I got them. It's like, oh, you want to get your Pixel Remastered, which is fair enough. I'm fairly certain that's not like you can buy the Pixel Remastered collection on Twitch, and it's not a it's not a game key. It's actually like on the cartridge, which is nice. And also to elaborate, I'm fine with patching a game. You know, like I buy a game and then it's like, oh yeah, you own the game, but you have to get this patch. I'm fine with that. I don't care. But the fact that the base game itself exists on my cartridge is what I want. This is the last inn we gotta stay at, folks. And we're gonna fight the final boss, who is one of the easier fights here, especially if you know what you're doing. Which I allegedly do. So we're gonna go ahead over here. And once we pass this with the Dragon Slayer equipped, boom, here we go. And here's the dragon. And all I'm going to do here pretty much is hold down the turbo buttons, because I'm lazy. And I'm going to kind of do this. Make sure you dodge that fire. As you can see, the health, the dragon does have quite a bit of health, but it's kind of hard to hit, that's why. Oh. And it's kind of easy, you just watch it, you know, like when you're going to know when it's going to stop to breathe some fire, like that. Sometimes I do move it, like, you kind of do want to, you don't want to wait too long. So, oh, there we go, that was close. You can see the dragon is rather low. I don't know, okay, it's so weird. Like, it looks like some hits that should be hitting aren't hitting. And it's dead. And that's it, folks. That's all she wrote. We slayed the dragon. Junior got the Dragon Slayer because his family went out there and they collected everything. And here they are waiting for him at the end of the dungeon. And there they are. And everybody's like, yeah. They're all like, yeah. Man, look at you, son. You killed the dragon. I mean, what purpose is it? Like, you kind of feel like your purpose is gone there. And then you got the dog up there. He's up on the roof. Everybody's happy. They're all waving. Or like, hey, you know, thanks for playing. You really did this for us. Like, you knocked them out, champ. You slayed the dragon, and now we're just gonna go back to living in our cabin. But like, but what's our purpose now? That's it. The dragon's been slain, but what do they do now? I don't know. I don't know. Junior could grow up to be a listless alcoholic. Like, he could be like, you know, I served my purpose when I was a kid. I slayed a dragon, but what do I do now? What do I have? That was the purpose of my entire family. We destroyed these guys. Now you get everybody's name here. Zemin is the dad. Mayna's the mom. Roas, that was the son. Lil, that was the, apparently she's an elf. She adopted? Elf. Monster. He's a dog. I'm still saying he's a dog in a monster costume. He's not a real monster. Dragon was Keela. King Dragon. Keela. Keela sounds like a girl name, though. So is that maybe the Queen Dragon? Hey, maybe I'm just not being... Maybe I'm the one being a bigot here. Maybe Keela is perfectly fine as a dude's name. I don't know. Who am I to say? I don't know anything. But, yeah, that's Legacy of the Wizard. That is Dragon Slayer 4. I think it's Dragon Slayer 4. I think that's what the series was called in Japan. I could be wrong. There's a guy called Memes. That's something. Yeah, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll come back again, hopefully with another riveting game for us all to play. Yeah, so I will use the royal us on this. You also partake in the playing of it. We're gonna get the staff here going by here, but if you want to watch the credits, go somewhere else. I'm gonna say we all had a good time, that you should tune in again and find whatever riveting game we take part in next time. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment. Tell me how much I suck. Don't forget to leave a like, because we don't dislike here. We're part of the like gang, the dislike gang. Don't forget to come back every day. We don't have everyday uploads, so that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I've yapped enough. I need to drink some water. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Have a great day. See ya.